Will it work? Okay. We're slowly getting there, maybe. Possibly. If the, stream could load, we'd be golden, honestly. The actual, screen that I have right now. There it is, okay. Oh, Jesus. Hello, 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 hello. Wow, I did not expect so many people to suddenly see this. Hello, hello. Hello, everybody. I did not expect so many people to just suddenly appear. I guess I'm gonna start with just some, stuff and things, because I know I have been dead for a very, very long time. Yeah, not dead, just kinda not really been doing a lot of YouTube stuff. I'm doing good. Life's going pretty okay. Had a rough patch for a little while. Much better now. Trying to get through the day. Why I've been gone from YouTube? That's the other question. It's just, that's a mix of a lot of different things. Main thing is I just kind of fell out of love with YouTube. I thought I could find a better way to stream so I could start streaming again. In a way, not with Mob Crush, so it didn't crash constantly. But that ended up not working, and that was a really frustrating thing. I don't need to get into that whole spiel. But yeah, I am alive, so there's that. I'm much more active on DeviantArt and Twitter, so hey, if you want to follow me on either DeviantArt or Twitter, they're both the Zodiac Lord, just so you know that I'm alive and you can actually see my art more frequently, because I obviously do not put my art on YouTube that much. And yeah, I just want you to, well, thank you, Yippee Cat. I understand. I just know it's something that probably people wonder about. Someday I might be in a place where I'm can actually just make videos normally again. Again, there's a lot of different reasons why I kind of don't really like making videos anymore. But I wanted to get back into streaming again and actually stream more often. So even though I'm still, my only way to stream right now from my iPad is not the most ideal, I'm willing to try and suffer through it. So anyway, I'm just working on commissions today. So this is a commission for someone who, through emails, they actually did commission me in the past. They commissioned me for, I think, like just a reference sheet for a character, and now they wanted some line art of some other characters. They're all Star Wars OCs. So yeah, I'll just be vibing a little bit. And if anyone has any kind of questions or anything like that, you are free to ask them, and I will try and talk while I draw. So I will answer them to the best of my ability while I struggle to do art. I don't get a lot of line art commissions, so it's kind of fun sometimes when I actually get to do them. They're just kind of an interesting experiment. Yeah, we vibing. I will say the one thing I do still appreciate about Mob Crush is that they do the notification thing. It's kind of nice to have that there, especially when I'm like really focused on my iPad and I can't always look over at my stream to check the chat. We'll say, very pleasantly surprised that so many people jumped in so quickly. That's very surprising. My mic's making popcorn. I can't hear myself, so I apologize. If it gets annoying, let me know and I'll try and fix it. It's just the same mic I do everything with, so I don't know if there's much I can do. Also, I've said this before in past streams, but for anybody new to this, new to me streaming here at least, if at any point the stream suddenly stops and crashes, I apologize. Mob Crush has a tendency to just crash after I stream for a little while, so if at any point the stream just ends really abruptly, just assume it crashed. Or my internet acted up or something like that. Just something to keep in mind. Do I know how ears work? I mean, technically, I've tried to understand how ears work. Do I understand how ears work? That's the actual question. The answer is no. I just kind of pretend like I do. Just kind of, honestly, the secret about ears, secret art tip for anybody who needs to draw ears. You can kind of draw ears almost however you want, and very few people will ever notice that anything is ever wrong. What was I looking over there for? I was, like, thinking about something. Well, thank you. Thank you, Maximo. Thoughts on the Procreate update? Is that the one where... I think I saw that on Twitter. They're, like, adding, like, references and stuff. I think it's fun. I think I'm hyped for it. Procreate hasn't quite done me wrong yet, so I'm cautiously optimistic. Honestly, I'm super hyped for references because I've had cases, especially with commissions, where I'll have like 1,800 references in one picture, and then like to arrange them all and also give myself space where I can see myself draw is a little bit of a hassle. So that references thing is the thing I'm the most excited about. Hands down. I remember you used to have a series where you talked about your OCs. It was about, I think, a mansion and otherworldly characters. Are you continuing that as a comic? I'm a bit out of touch, to be honest. Yeah. So, ironically enough, Luniverse Portraits was a series that I liked a lot. And I did always say that I would redo them. The speed paints I may redo. I actually did make... I actually did Luna's... Not recently, but not a while ago. I just haven't edited the video yet. The only thing is that while I'm probably still going to make a speed paint of that one eventually, because I think it's a really cool redraw, I probably won't make a commentary paint for it, unfortunately. Because, again, there's multiple reasons why. Some of them, one of them is at least a little bit personal. But so that's the I know this isn't really your question exactly. I know you're more asking like what's Luniverse, like is Luniverse going to be a comic? But yeah, that was a series I had a little while ago. So eventually I'll hopefully have actual speed paint redraws for it, but maybe not the commentary paints for it for a long time. As for the story itself, currently I do not have any plans to make a comic for it or anything like that. Luniverse is a very, like, precious story to me. It's one I've put a lot of, like, brain work into. And it's also one I don't really want to create until I have more experience with, like, creating stories and stuff like that. Because it's like I really want it to be a very well executed story, and also because the longer it's like gone on in my mind, the more I feel like the best medium for it would not be one I could do by myself. That being that I the longer I've thought about it and the longer I've gone to school, I've thought that Luniverse would make a really sick game, like as like an RPG kind of style game. And because of that, while I could do a lot of the art stuff for that, I can't do the programming and all the kind of stuff I need with that. I would want, like, other things as well. I'd want it to be a bigger game. So that's not something I could do for a long time. which is cool and all. It's just one of those stories that I'm saving in my back pocket for a while. So that is the status on Luniverse at the moment. Am I drawing a Star Wars character, having nothing about Star Wars? Yes, I am, but I get paid, so it all works out. I will draw almost anything if I am paid. Almost. Keyword is almost. It's always so weird drawing in silence. I'm so used to... Normally when I draw, I have, like, YouTube. Like, literally, I have YouTube on in the background. So it's very weird when I just draw in silence. When can I commission you to draw some of my beebs? You can commission me whenever you want. My commissions are, like, literally open at the moment. I'm not doing slots at the moment. I might start doing slots at some point again, because I realize that people actually, like, tend to be more inclined to buy commissions when they have slots, which is interesting. But my commissions are still technically open right now, so you're free to contact me or whatever on DeviantArt, Twitter, whatever, if you want a commission. I unfortunately, I would put it all in the description for you, but YouTube really doesn't like working with Mobcrush that much, so unfortunately my description will probably not have the information needed in that. Nope, it has nothing in there, so I cannot put any links to my commissions at this very moment, but my commissions are open, so if you want to hit me up on Twitter or DeviantArt, or technically Instagram too. I don't use Instagram. I have not posted in there in like a year. But I do check on there sometimes for people I follow. So it's the Zodiac Lord on Instagram too. So if you cannot contact me through DeviantArt or Twitter, I do have an Instagram that I would I don't post on there, but I'm fine taking commissions through there if that's your only option. I also do have an ArtStation, so there's that as well. And all of those places have links to my commission info, where you can find my email and all that kind of junk. I assume I must take advantage of this opportunity when it's the only available mentality when it comes to slot commissions. Yeah, that's what I've been thinking. Because for a while it was pretty good, but I also think right now, I think it's a combination too, where it's like, we have a pandemic going on, at least, America's handling it like trash, so I know some people are a bit tight on money right now, so that is what it is. It's also because, like, I don't do slots anymore, which worked for me for a while. Only now is it starting to feel a little bit slow, because I, like, updated my commission prices, and, like, no one said anything, so, but and granted, also, it's partly my own fault, because I have been very, very slow with my art lately. I've been a little bit of an art rut. Ironically, and I'm transitioning this into a different question I saw, I've been drawing a lot of IDV fan art. And that takes me to the other person who asked, what exactly is IDV? I've seen a whole lot of it. But I have no idea what it's about. So for any of you poor innocent viewers on YouTube who do not follow me on Twitter or even on DA and have not seen my current hyperfixation, I, a few months ago, got very obsessed with a game called Identity V, or Identity V as my friends and I call it, even though that's incorrect, but that's okay. Listen, we know it's wrong, we just say it anyway, but it's a game, it's a primarily mobile game, but technically if you get it on mobile, there is a way you can play it on computers. I have a friend who does it, but it is a asymmetric multiplayer game where it's 4 versus 1. It's basically, anyone here has ever heard of or played Dead by Daylight, it's that, but with a completely different aesthetic. Much more like Coraline aesthetic, just a little bit, because the survivors are all doll people. And I've been, like, obsessed with it. I have been in many a fandom. Many a fandom. Not a lot. I know there's people who are much more obsessed with fandoms than I am. And I've never been into something so much to where I've drawn as much fan art as of just the normal game as I have for Identity V. I, which is crazy. I did a lot of art for like Warriors and Steven Universe, but primarily most of that was OCs and like original like designs by me that wasn't actually in the canon show or content. And then, but for some reason, with Identity Vive, I was like, you know what, I just want to draw nothing but this for some reason, and it got me out of my like art block and my depression at the time. So, it's a little bit of my favorite thing right now because it's really keeping me going, just a tiny bit. My friends also, I think I'm also slightly unhealthily obsessed, but that's okay. Wait, so where can I play the game? If you have like iPad or iPhone, I would like to assume that it's I don't know about Android for sure. So if you have Android stuff, then I'm not positive it works on Android. But if you have it's a mobile game, so if you just go to the App Store and look up Identity V or 5 because it's Roman numerals, you can find it on there. It's I will say, if anyone's going to play it because they heard my recommendation, the tutorial and the intro is like long and weird. It's a long and weird tutorial, but I promise you, just get through it and then you will have fun. Because it's a bit strange, but once you're through that, once you ignore the story they tried to pretend they had, it's all fun. I was able to get an Android. Good, so it is on Android too. And you can play it on there. I'm someone who likes mobile games, so it works great for me. If you don't like mobile games, then probably not, but if you're like me and you like mobile games. I've heard that the intro has nothing to do with the rest of it. Yeah, pretty much. It's there is like a little bit of a plot, technically, like how you get introduced to the game, but just to be honest here, the game isn't about a plot or a story per se. There's lore and stuff like that. It's just not relevant to the actual gameplay. The actual gameplay is about you playing with actual people in matches and dicking around and having fun. So, you know, but the actual like story of the game is that you're a detective and you're trying to figure out this game that happened at this mansion many different times, and that the whole reason you're playing as these characters is because I guess you're the detective like projecting onto these characters to try and solve the case or whatever. I don't know. It's weird. And they kind of forget about it after like the tutorial's done. You couldn't make it through the intro? Yeah, it's a long intro. Once you're through it, though, nothing can stop you. It also is completely free to play. Not that doesn't mean that you can't spend money on it for cosmetic shit, like me, who's put far too much money in the game and has spent far too much money on my friends for the game because I'm obsessed with it and I want to keep my friends obsessed with it. Well, plus I also have nothing better to spend my money on right now a little bit. But it is some good, it's my obsession. Trust me, if I get back into streaming regularly on here, you will see IDV shit. That is just a fact of life and none of you can stop me. It's just how it be sometimes. I don't know how this works. I don't know sci-fi and I don't know technology, but I can pretend I do. Just gonna pretend that's a thingy that actually like makes sense and is supposed to be there. You found Art-related question. What advice and techniques do you have for working on and practicing your line art? Oh, that's a good question. I don't really know. Line art isn't my forte, but I would say that, like, okay, what I will say about line art is something that I think it took me a while to kind of understand this myself, and I think I was a little too late when I finally understood it. That you don't need line art, like clean, beautiful, crisp line art, to have your art style be unique and like recognizable and good. There's plenty of artists who never even do line art. You know, people will do like lineless art is a style. Flipping some people, like, their literal like line art style is just like keeping everything super sketchy and just kind of cleaning up their sketches. You can have your line art style literally be that you clean up your sketches and that's the line art. Like that's a secret that no one will really tell you out loud, is that your art style doesn't need line art. You can get around doing line art if you don't like line art. And if you don't like line art, but you feel like it's pivotal to how your workflow and how you draw, then the secret to that is trying to find ways to make line art more fitting for you. Like for me, for example, I started using, I started doing this shit where I started like putting weird shading kind of effects and things on it, because that kind of keeps me, it's something fun for me and it's something I like doing. And it makes it so that when I do line art, it takes a lot longer, but it feels more me. It makes line art feel less like like a chore and more like actually a part of the art, rather than like a necessary step. So yeah, my true secret of line art, though, is that you don't technically need line art in your art. In fact, you don't need anything in your art, technically. If something doesn't look right to you and you're that stubborn about it, instead of actually learning how to do the thing, you can be stubborn and be a petty bitch, and you can just work around it, change everything else about your art to not include the thing that you don't want to include, but still make it look nice. That's the real secret of art. It's just a lot of spite. Do you have a certain pen you use, and is it available for Clip Studio Paint? I don't know if it's available for Clip Studio Paint. I literally, for my, like, the line art I'm doing now, I use the technical pencil in Procreate, and I've made, like, slight modifications to it. So I don't know for sure if it's available in Clip Studio or not. And I'm sorry about that. I mean, if all else fails, you can always make your own brushes. That's just the truth about art programs. Once you learn how to make brushes, you have too much power. That hand's a bit funky. That hand's a little funky. That hand's just a little funky. But that's okay. Sorry, I looked away for a minute. Also, on the topic of line art, what do you think the best pencil brush is in Procreate? For line art, I personally really like the pencil you use, but I can't find it in Procreate. I literally use the technical pencil. This is what the default, like, technical pencil looks like. It's not too much different than mine. The only difference is that I've tweaked some settings. So for anybody curious, I'll just, like, scroll through this real quick and you can take whatever screenshots you want. It's like, there's not really that much that I've changed with it. Most of it's like opacity settings and like taper settings and stuff like that. Other than that, it's pretty much the same. I am a basic bastard, so I haven't really changed all that much. I just started using the technical pencil and then I never used anything else. So if anyone wants to steal my settings, I'll just show you my settings. Because I don't even remember. I couldn't tell you like verbally what I changed with it because I don't like remember it so long ago. Oh dear, what did I do? Just fucked up my own settings. Yeah, so that's those are my brush settings. But yeah, I just pretty much use the technical pencil. Oh, the clicking, the clicking you're probably hearing is might just be my stylus on my screen. Possibly, unless you're hearing a different clicking, in which I don't know what that would be. What is this? It's just like a fucking belt buckle, I guess. This is where we make some bullshit up, because the commissioner told me they're not really super picky about, like, the details, so... I can do whatever I want. I have so much power here. And I say that, and even then I'm still going to try and make it slightly accurate to the picture I was given. Because that's just what I do for some reason. That's not entirely even, and it's gonna bother me, but sometimes we just have to suffer. Sometimes we just have to leave it, and by leaving it, it means I'm gonna take Liquify, and I'm gonna make this slightly less uneven, and make it not look as slanted. Because that's just what I do. I can never leave it alone. Sorry, I was looking at the chat. What did I put there? Oh, those are like some other things they have. Why does this lady have so many bags? Like, you see this? She has so many bags. She has bags underneath her bags. The storage space on this woman. This isn't even what this bag looks like, but they told me the sketch looked fine, so they don't care. I can do whatever I want, because they weren't bothered by it. Because what is line art other than a finished version of a sketch with all the details fleshed out? I wish I could put on some music and not make it quiet, but copyright's a bitch. So we're just gonna have to suffer in silence, you and I. I can just listen to the sounds of people driving outside. Look at these like weird leather things. They look like leather things. I'm not gonna do that. I don't like that kind of music. I literally 99% of lyricless music drives me nuts. I don't know why, but I cannot, I get so bored listening to music that has no lyrics to it. It's like, it needs words or I'm gonna go crazy. Hello, Mitchie. Welcome. I'm suffering. I'm trying to draw leather? Question mark? I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's supposed to be, but we're going to pretend I know what it's supposed to be. It didn't crash already. Knock on wood. I'm just dying for many reasons that you already know. But it's okay, because I'm actually streaming. And would you look at that? I'm also don't know what these things are supposed to be. But we're pretending that we know. That doesn't look even at all. Commissions are fun. I'm doing commissions. These are commissions. You think I have Star Wars characters, Michelle? I do not. The answer is I don't. You know, they wouldn't. They probably notice. I'll just put, belt buckle, question mark. Whatever that silver thing is supposed to be. I need to just, listen. I know how 3D modeling works, okay? I know how 3D modeling works. So I know why this is so blurry, but also, what are these supposed to be, Star Wars? I don't know what that is supposed to be. It just looks like nothing. It looks like random leather belts, but they're not, connected to anything. And it hurts me because I don't know what they're supposed to be. As an artist, it hurts me. I'm not paying attention to the chat. It's supposed to be aesthetic. Agreed. Sci-fi. I wish I could get you in a call with me, but it wouldn't work because Mob Crush doesn't do voice calls for some fucking reason. I mean, I could. It just means I'd have to do a whole thing where I gotta go to my computer and shit. And that's too much work. This was the part that I could make it up because they told me they would send me the legs of these characters and then they never sent me the legs. So I bullshitted the legs and they said it was fine, so. I mean, you're right, Mitchie, but we've also established I can't talk on my phone. So you'd have to hear me through the stream like a weird... You'd have to hear me in the past. We can try. Just be weird. I mean, you could just literally call me. That's also an option. I forgot you had my phone number. I just say loudly on a stream. Do you ever have an argument with your friend on a stream? This is how we actually like became friends, you know. Ah, the memories. Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I guess if you want to call me Michelle, you can vibe with me. Oh, are you calling me? You're calling me. Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. Let's see. Oh, goodness. Can you let me know if you can hear her stream? She's calling me on my phone that I have to put next to my iPad so we can catch it on my microphone on my iPad because Mob Crush doesn't work.
Yeah, it's because everything hates Morgan. Like, Twitch hates Morgan.
Twitch...
The way I stream with my iPad hates Morgan.
No, not even that. Specifically, screen mirroring hates me, apparently. And
yeah, which is weird, because you have the newer iPad.
Yeah, it's so strange. Well, also, because here's the thing. I tried to do it on my phone. The option wouldn't show up on my phone either, so it's something to do with either, like, the Wi-Fi here, or my computer, or something. But I cannot figure it out. We hear her.
Oh, yeah, they said they can hear me.
They can hear you.
Oh, wow, look, so you're not just talking to the ether.
Not talking to the ether anymore.
What do you know? I got back from dropping Cody off at the airport. So.
I see, yeah. Well, now you can read the chat for me. It's a perfect strategy.
Yeah, there we go. I already have a wrench, so why don't I be your buddy?
You're my moderator. Oh my gosh.
Speaking of that, so...
Yeah. Yeah?
So, a certain somebody, I won't say who, you know who.
I know who.
Needs to call me back and be like, hey, did the thing happen? Is it a yes or a no? Because you said you'd find out today. And I'm just kind of waiting in the ether. Just like...
Fun.
So I'm here like, oh yeah, I should also stream and get work done. But I'm also here like, well, if I don't end up going on this trip, I kind of want to enjoy a day off.
Yeah.
Like you do.
Listen, now you can vibe with me in my stream.
I know, as I sound like a robot because the universe hates Morgan.
Don't worry about it. It's okay.
Hello, guys. Hey, legitimate questions. This is a comment. Legitimate question. How do you draw faces? Like human faces. I've been trying to get myself into a more human style, and I need advice. Yippee Cat, do you mean like a semi-realistic style? Or like, do you draw mostly furries and you want to make people?
The best advice I could give... because I transitioned from like drawing nothing but cats into drawing people. So like the best advice I could give is to just try and like, look at human faces and like it's the same as drawing an animal. You have to look at like you have to look at references and whatever, which I know is not the advice people want to hear, but that is like 90% of drawing is just kind of figuring it out. I know there is somebody who made like a tutorial on like transitioning, like how to apply animal drawing knowledge to human knowledge. I don't think it's the best one because I don't think they have a very specific style, and even their human faces look a little bit like weird, I think. To me, but that's nothing on them. I applaud them for making a tutorial like that because it's very helpful and very specific. But so what?
I was replying to somebody else. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I was very confused. I thought you were talking about my stream, and I was like, oh.
No, your stream's fine. Blue Tasha was like, is Toy House down for anybody else? Because I made like, okay, so Sky says Toy House is down, yeah. Because I try to stay organized, Morgan.
Yeah.
I try.
Me too.
I do my best. But sometimes shit gets lost in transit, and I kind of hate it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, fuck it. Because especially for my top tier, my $50 tier patrons, because they get that extra commission, which is going to be changing soon.
Dun 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 dun.
It's not bad. I realized that like I'm putting way too much work in it.
Yeah.
And I hear like,
I mean, me with my Patreon.
I'm like, they're paying $50. It's a big tier. I'm not sugarcoating. It's not. So instead of getting the sketch or line art like the $25 people get, they're gonna get like a fully finished commission every month. I can't give them two anymore because I'm sitting here and I'm like, yeah, I'm getting my Patreon rewards done. This is great. Why am I so burnt out and tired? Oh yeah, because these are like way discounted what my normal prices are.
Yeah.
So don't worry, $50 tier people for me. If you're in here, you're still getting the finished picture. You're just not going to get both. Or you can opt out and get two line arts instead of like a fully colored one, just for my own sanity. But because of that, when I was doing the two references, it would get mixed up with $25 people, and it was getting complicated. And like, I actually sent somebody. I was so mad because like I finished a commission and I sent it to somebody that I was sure that was them because it was a $50 one, and they were like, "Oh, that's a cute character, but it's not the one I got." And I was like,
Oof.
And then I'm still like here, like, oh, well, enjoy the upgrade. Well, I have to redo this for somebody else now.
Whoopsies.
So I'm like, all right, my $50 people are going to have a separate, like, Discord thing where I'm like, listen, don't talk in this. This is a reference dump. This is what this is. And a couple of them are like, oh, okay, this is great, but Toy House is down. I'm like, lovely, great, love that, beautiful.
Beautiful. Love it when things are down unexpectedly.
Yeah, see, Blue Tashi, it's what sucks. It's because it's like, it's especially for higher tier stuff, like, you don't want to rip people off. You want to give them, you know, the benefits of having a bigger tier, because especially $25, $50 a month, that's a lot of money. And I'm not saying it's not a lot of money, it is.
Yeah.
You know, but it's one of those where I'm like slowly getting through my queue of owed stuff, and the whole point was to, like, open up so I didn't have to rely on commissions solely.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's my big thing. It's like, I'm like, I just want to be free. Because I like doing commissions, don't get me wrong, but, like, I'm really happy because I also hit my first goal, which is the mini print reward, which is something I wanted to do, because I liked mailing stuff out. I love postage, I love aesthetics and mailing orders, but I'm also here like, shit, that means I have to order prints, because I don't own a fucking printer.
Yeah, it'd be like that.
Is it possible to get a Toy House by yourself, or is it invite code? I think it's invite code only, but I know a lot of people that just give them a fuck away.
Oh yeah, there's so many people who have, like, Quan does it constantly.
Yeah, like our friend
She's got like 100.
Yeah, she gets, like, I think she's like if you pay for the premium Toy House thing, you get like 5 or 10 a month to give to people, so you can easily find people giving away the codes for free. You'll be good. You'll find some.
Which is, like, slightly weird to me that the
it's
website is still, like, private. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it is
like,
weird.
it's not private to view, but you can't, like, use it unless you have a code. It's like, it's been around so long at this point.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Big Papa Thick, how you doing? Don't see. They used to come to, like, all of the streams that Brie and I used to do, like, all the time on YouTube. So I remember that username, because you're not going to forget a username like Big Papa Thick.
You can't forget Big Papa Thick.
I also like Blue Tashi. I like that you changed your name to Blue Tashi-ish. I don't know. It's a nice little ad to it.
I didn't notice that. I'm not reading fast. I'm just, like, skimming it because I'm trying to draw too, so I'm like, I'm not registering what I'm reading.
I know. Honestly, I've been streaming a lot more on the website not my stream. So yeah, I stream on Twitch.
Yeah. Damn, now I'm demonetized.
I know, damn, I know. Oh, look at that. And then poor Morgan here, he was like, alright, I'll give Twitch a shot. Twitch, we don't like you. We don't want you.
They gave me false hope. They made me think I could stream directly from my iPad to Twitch, and then I couldn't. And I was like, Twitch, after all the shit you've already put me through, not cool.
Well, okay, to be fair, Morgan's channel has been dead for a very long time.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Listen, I still have enough subscribers to be able to make my real life friends go like, whoa, what? It's just so... Happened last night. I was playing Among Us with friends from school. Really fun. Got a big group together, and then I sucked like Python to there so we could have enough people to play. And we when we were playing it, someone made the comment that like next time we play it together, we need to actually record it so we can post it. She's like, and I was like, if somebody else records and edits it, I'll put it up on my channel. And they were just like, and it was like, it's like, I got like 71 subscribers, it's fine. Everyone was just like, you have what? And I'm like, because I just mentioned it offhandedly because I kind of forgot that's not like a normal thing. I don't know why I thought it was.
It was like when I was talking to Star, and Star's like, oh yeah, I hit 100K. I should really send in that email to get the play button. I'm like, you haven't done that yet? And she's like, nah. Or they're like, nah.
Damn.
I'm just like, I just want the silver play button. That's all I really want. Like, I don't really care to get the gold one. I just want the silver one.
Why specifically the silver one, might I ask?
Because I've never gotten anything like that since I was, like, a kid.
Like bragging rights?
Well, not even bragging rights. It's just like, oh, I did something. Like, you worked really hard.
Look at me, Bob. I'm a real YouTuber.
Well, no, because like, okay, I hate saying it because I know it's like a big, like, boomer thing that they keep making fun of. But, like, so I used to do ice skating and horseback competitions when I was a kid.
Yeah,
I know. Crazy. Weird. Me. But then I had trauma and a very traumatic foot injury that stopped all that. But, like...
Hey, my knees!
Yeah, exactly. You and your knees. And I remember the first time I won an award that, like, I won because I worked really hard and I got it. And it was during this ice skating one. And I remember it so clearly because I was, like, so sure I lost. So...
Hey, real quick, can I interrupt you real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
If, Blue Tashi, just, if you're gonna talk about any kind of commission stuff to me, please just do it through notes or through DMs or something like that. Don't through a YouTube chat section.
Yeah. So DM them.
Please just DM me. Anyway, yeah, continue.
Alright, no problem. So, I don't remember what my routine was, but I remember, like, it's so weird. It's one of my most, I have really weird, vivid, like, memories when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, okay, the song I did my routine to was fucking Under the Sea by Little Mermaid. I remember that my outfit was this, like, black sequined, like, little leotard thing. And I was so happy that I got to wear a black one.
The inner goth of Michelle.
My mom only ever put me on, like, pastel pink ones, and my dad was like, hey, it's her big competition, let her pick one. And I was like, black, and my mom was like, no. And then my dad was like, okay, we're going to compromise. So it's going to be black, but you're going to have sequins all over this thing. And I was like, yes, I finally have a black one. And I know, it's almost like there were signs in my early childhood.
It's almost like I knew I was going to be a goth when I was a child.
I know, right? God. So, but I remember, like, in the middle of doing, I forget the technical term, but it's when you do, like, you're on, like, your one leg's in the air and your other leg is there, and you do a backward circle, like, one-legged while your other leg's in the air.
I have no idea. I don't know anything about ice skating.
Alright, well, I was doing that, and I was going to do it, like, 3 times, and on the second time, I twisted my ankle and I fell, and I just got up, and I finished my routine anyway. Like, I didn't cry, I didn't freak out, I just was like,
What a
Well,
trooper.
yeah, and so I did that, but I remember like thinking, even though I did it, I was like, oh, I didn't win anything because I fucked up. And like a lot of people got really fucking quiet when I like finished and I got off, and I was like, oh god, did I like rip my suit or something? And my dad like gave me a big hug, and my mom was like, oh, we're so proud of you, and my like trainer lady was like, oh, we were so impressed, and I was like, wait, what? I fell. And they're like, but you didn't cry. You didn't make a scene. You just got up and finished it, and you finished it perfectly. I was like, okay.
Oh,
So I
baby.
didn't fail? And they were like, that's never happened before. Because usually, like, and I hate to say it, because, like, my parents were chill. Like, my dad got uncomfortable because there were kids that, like, in my thing, where it was very clear, like, their parents were making them ice skate kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, keep in mind, the whole reason why I wanted to learn how to ice skate was I wanted to learn how to rollerblade.
A true tomboy.
And then, I know, right? And then, after I did ice skating, one time I was at the, like, because I remember when I started ice skating when I was little, like, one of those, I forget the word, when they're, like, a person that, like, sees you, and they're like, oh, that kid's got potential.
A talent agent? Talent scout?
Is that what it was? Okay.
I don't fucking know.
They saw me, and they were the reason why I started doing the competitions and stuff. But I was like, well, I sucked, so I didn't get it. You know, but I was like, I still finished. I was super accomplished. And then I ended up winning the silver trophy, and I still have it in a box somewhere.
Oh, look at you go.
And I was really proud. I'm like, oh, me not giving up and not crying and not breaking down, I still won. And I felt like really accomplished. I was like super duper happy, ooh-woo. And then, like, I hate to say that, but then it was, like, right around that time was when the early 2000s kicked in. It's the reason for this story. And, like, I've talked about this before, if you guys watch my stuff, too. If not, it's fine. But, like, I had, like, undiagnosed learning disabilities until I was, like, almost out of high school, or if not out of high school. So I always had to work, like, 8 times harder when it came to anything school-wise if it didn't interest me. And even then, I would barely get, like, you know, A's and B's and C's and stuff. Like, it was rare for me to get an A on something.
See, that's both a big mood, but also, I'm just apparently very good at fluking things, so.
Well, yes, you and Cody had that moment, so.
Yeah.
Oh, the one drawing right now, that's the Zodiac Lord. He's a guy, so him. And I'm Twisted Disaster, or Michi, and I'm she, her.
Pardon.
Someone just asked my pronouns.
Yeah,
just
I saw
ask, so.
Yeah. I'm trying not to interrupt you.
Oh, it's okay. There you go, Lemon Boy. I like that username. I've got stupid humor. But anyway, what I was saying was, I remember, like, working really, really hard and still sucking at things, but then that's when, like, the participation trophy things came out.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, okay? Half of us didn't like getting trophies either for just existing. So, like, when I hear people be like, oh, yeah, you guys just don't understand. It was mostly my generation because I'm a millennial.
Right.
This bitch is a Zoomer. So, you are a Zoomer, right? Don't you count as that?
Yeah. I'm a Z. Well, it's also funny because I'm Gen Z, but, like, it's so subjective about where generations start and stop. It's break time now. I finished this bitch. I'm gonna take a break. But, it's like, because I consider Gen Z starting in the 2000s. You know? Like, because that's...
that makes sense to me.
So, because that's just how it makes my brain happy to imagine it like that. And it's like, it's so weird to me, though, when a lot of people talk about the Zoomers being, like, middle schoolers, because I know they technically count, but I'm also like, I don't associate with those kids. Like, I don't relate to anything they're doing.
Yeah.
I'm like, just, I don't know. It's so weird, too, because, like, the participation trophies don't really make anyone feel better.
Yeah.
Because I grew up in a generation of, like, a lot, just, like, here's a trophy just because you tried. And it was
No,
like...
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And so, like, that's why I want the YouTube Silver Play button, because I'm trying to get it. Now, I know there are people who get it easily by not trying. I mean, PewDiePie made a point years ago when he made Jacksepticeye 2, got 1 million subs in 2 days, and then took a picture with the gold plaque and tagged Jack in it.
Yeah.
Like,
it's hard, because it's like I get why, and to me I don't think there's anything wrong with encouraging kids to being like, hey, you tried, and like keep doing that, because you know, like, giving them something to acknowledge that like they exist is good, because it shows them that for even just giving it their best effort, they're at least acknowledged, you know?
Yeah.
It's when you award them like something really special just because they exist. That's where you start getting people who think, well, I don't need to try at something because I'll get it anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's where it gets like dangerous, because you have kids like me who are just like, I don't want a prize because I want first place. That's what I want. Like, you have kids like that who are gonna actually have that mindset, not be affected, but you're gonna have other kids who are not, because they're gonna get it and they're gonna think they're extremely special for getting it, because kids are naive.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. It always
plain salt. I know that's what it says on Wikipedia, but you'll also find different answers no matter where you look.
Oh yeah, like I've heard it's 96. I've heard it's 94. I've heard it's
2002. I've heard it's 2005, and that I'm a millennial now, and I'm like, I don't think so. Like,
yeah, no, I don't think so either. I think, okay, this is gonna sound so stupid. I think the Zoomers exist when you grew up with high-speed internet and TiVo.
Yeah, that's how I feel it is. Yeah, like, it's like, because
back in my day,
yeah, because to me,
we couldn't pause TV.
Yeah, well, also, like, it's hard to put a generation on a number thing unless you're doing like actual literal math. Like, if you wanted to do math and say that, like, okay, the next generation starts when the last of a generation get to 18 or something like that.
Oh my fucking god, Pyth, what the fuck? You gotta read this, ready?
What?
Pyth just said this. My teacher used to give me stickers whenever I'd fail a spelling test, and then would say, this is not because you did good, it's to make you feel better. And that made me feel even worse.
Yeah, like, it doesn't make anybody feel good. That's also how you breed imposter syndrome, because somebody's not really sure if they're getting rewarded because they did good, or if people are just doing it to make them feel better.
Yeah, because that was like me. Not to the same extent. That's kind of fucked. But like, I remember in late middle school, I was put into this like, I don't know what it's called. It was like for the kids who were having a harder time, but it wasn't special ed. I'm not knocking special ed. It was like a weird in between. And so I remember working like really, really, really hard on something and failing, and then seeing somebody who didn't try at all, like they didn't care, and they failed. And we all got awards for, like, just trying. But like, well, you did your best. And I'm like, well, but I sucked. Like, I don't understand this. And they were like, yeah. And I'm like, well, don't I need to understand this when I'm going into high school? Yeah. Well, shouldn't I retake it or, like, go to after-school tutoring or something? So, you know, when high school comes around, I'm not lost? Oh, no. And I was like, oh, great. But I have an award.
Yeah. It's like there's nothing wrong with just acknowledging to a kid, like, hey, good job that you tried, and I hope you try again. It's bad when you award them for trying.
Yeah.
And give them something special because of it, because that just, it's either going to teach them that, oh, you can do nothing and get everything in return, or
my God, I never told you this. Okay, so when I was teacher's aide,
oh gosh,
this has to do with that. This has to do with what we're talking about, I swear. So, what my teacher did, my boss did, stamps, and like not like stickers, they were actually stamps. And we would stamp kids' hands, like tops of their hands, they would leave for the day. And if they had 3 stamps, they were like an outstanding student, you know, great. And it would go down to no stamps, where you were like a troublemaker and were bad. And we did that as a way to like inform the parents, like, hey, it was very clear. It's like if your kid went home with no stamps, they were like the kid that stabbed a kid in my class. You know what I mean? It's like that, or the one time that I had a student like steal my lunch. He did. The little shit. Okay, I'm talking a lot of good stories. Like little shit broke into our little fucking fridge, stole my tuna sandwiches, and I know he stole my tuna sandwiches because when it was time for recess, I was like, "Oh hey, where'd you get those?" And he's like, "I stole them," and I was like,
I stole them.
And I was like, "I think those are my lunches." And that kid, deadass, looked at me and was like, "Well, my mom says you shouldn't eat bread," and then ate my sandwich in front of me. And I was like, "Ah!"
Damn, take your mom's advice, kid.
But I was just like, ah! And I like told my boss because I like didn't know how to handle getting roasted by this fucking kindergarten. and my
Listen, either that little kid is a genius and is gonna grow up to be a mastermind, or his mom was secretly calling you fat behind your back.
Oh no, I totally believe the mom was calling me fat.
Oh, I'm sure.
I wholeheartedly believe that.
I would like to think that kid is just that like awesome.
I was like surprised. Now I was angry this kid stole my lunch, but I
Yeah.
was also like, damn, that burns, kid. And so I told my boss.
Yeah, like damn, you smart little fucker. Like,
I'm like, what do we do about it? Because like technically, because I was like, in the same vein, he was also a kindergartner.
yeah, he's also a
So I
kindergartner.
was like, I don't really want to go to the principal about this. It was a fucking tuna sandwich, like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I was like, okay, what do we do? And she's like, all right, well, he doesn't get any stamps when he goes home. And so, and we would do the stamps when the kids like were ready to leave. So like the kids would see the kids getting stamps. And so, you know, all the kids were getting their stamps for the day, and he didn't get any stamps. And he looked at me and he was like, where's my stamps? And I was like, well, you stole my stamps.
Like, I don't know, you little shit. Who stole my sandwich?
And he looked at me, and then my heart broke because he got like really sad.
Aww.
Because it was a kindergartner, like again, like that's why.
Yeah, poor little shit.
And he like looked sad, and he's like, "But I've always gotten stamps when I went home." And I'm like, "Well, you stole. Stealing is bad."
See, that's how you teach
like,
children moral lessons.
Yeah, and he was like, he just looked at me. He looked like he was gonna cry, and I was like,
Aww.
I'm like, "Oh, kid, don't cry. Please don't cry. Please don't cry." And it wasn't like the fake crying, because like when they're kindergartners, they either one don't know how to lie at all, or two, they suck at lying so bad that you're just like, I know you're lying.
Yeah.
Like one time I had a kid that was like, "Oh, I'm in so much pain. I'm crying." I'm like, "You're not crying." "Yeah, I am." And then I'd see him like stare at me.
Yeah.
Like, yes. He's like, "Don't you see my tears?" I'm like, "You're not crying." He's
You
like,
trying,
"Yes, I am."
little
He keeps
dude.
staring at me. And I'm like, "Why are you staring at me?" He's like, "Because I'm crying."
Don't you see the tears?
Yeah.
Miss
And-
Porter,
but-
don't you see the tears?
And he was like, I'm sorry. And I'm like, well, you better, because stealing is wrong. And he's like, okay. And then, like, he went home.
Yeah.
And
I
the
see
next
where this is
day-
going very,
and the
very
next
boldly.
Day, though, it was really cute. The next day, he left an Uncrustables on my desk.
Aww.
With
The
a
little
note,
shit's
that's why I know it was
redemption
his.
arc.
That's why I know it was his. It's like, sorry I stole your lunch. I won't do it again. Stealing's bad.
Oh, the little shit's redemption arc.
That's why it was like, I remember going home and being like, "So Cody, a kindergartner stole my lunch," and Cody was like, "Damn, you let a kindergartner get a jump on you?" Thanks,
That would be even funnier. Gosh, I just remember being like in elementary school, and we would do the fucking the card things.
Yeah.
Like where it's like, oh, everybody starts on green, and if you do something wrong, you go to yellow, and you get a warning or whatever. And it was like, some teachers would take it like even further too, where it wasn't just like green, yellow, red. It was like green, yellow, orange, then you get red, and then like purple was like, oh, you're fucked. Like we're gonna call your parents. But I remember being in like elementary school, just having the cards. It's like you could truly see two different kinds of like kids. It was either you're like me and you get yellow and you feel like your world is ending and you feel like terrified to do anything.
Uh-huh.
And then you have kids who would get to red like every other day and just be like, yeah.
Yeah, no. Also, I know, but trust me, with our kindergartners, very rarely, I learned...
Oh, no, I know, yeah. We've talked about this. I know that there's like...
No, I know you have, but a person in the comments, like, don't let them know that crying gets to you. It's how they take advantage of you. And I'm like, there's a difference. Like, listen, I was a teacher's aide for 2 years, and I've been around kids and worked with kids most of my life. And there's a certain age where they don't understand that, and if they do, that's a taught thing.
Kids are both... Here's the thing. It's such a weird statement to say, but kids are both much smarter than they're given credit for, but also much more stupid than they're given credit for.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, like, kids are emotionally, like, they're very curious creatures. They're, like, they're smart in the sense that they're more aware than what you might think. They're going to notice things more than a lot of people act. Like, people act as if, like, oh, a kid wouldn't notice this, and they would... Like, some people, like, especially when it comes to, like, media and stuff like that, you know, children aren't just, like, drooling idiots who aren't going to understand, like, a deep concept about friends and family, you know?
Yeah.
But kids are also, like, they're not that calculated, guys. They really aren't. There are very, very, very few kids in the world who are going to know, like, oh, if I just cry about this thing and pretend to cry, you know, because kids are such, like, star actors from kindergarten, you know, like, I can get whatever I want. Like, that's just not how kids work. They're just...
Like, I think, okay, one of the most heartbreaking moments for me as a teacher was we had this kid. I think I told you this story, but I'm not sure. Was we had this kid. I'll call him Corin. So Corin, he was a really sweet kid. He was really smart, but he really liked, finger quote, going to the bathroom. And by going to the bathroom, we had a buddy system, and he would always take his best friend. And they would go to the bathroom and be gone a very, very, very long time. Now, we realized nothing was going on, so don't think it was bad. For the, like, chat people. They just liked talking, you know what I mean, because they were friends. And I remember one day, Corin kept asking, he's like, I ain't going to the bathroom. And I was like, Corin, you just went to the bathroom an hour ago, and you were gone for 10 minutes. And he's like, but I really gotta go. And I was like, okay, but if you're gone because we were, like, right by the bathroom. There was no excuse to take that long. I'm like, all right, but you can't take...
They're smoking weed, I know it.
What?
Someone in the chat said they're smoking weed, I know it.
Yep, the kindergartner's smoking weed. And so, he was like, but I like taking... So I don't remember the other kid's name. Like, I feel bad. Like, there's very few kids' names I remember after all this time. But
nah, it makes sense.
I remember his...
Bro, I was, like, best friends with, like, I was in 5th grade, and I was in ESD after school, and it was, like, there was the 5th grade table and the kindergartners table, and they were right next to each other for some reason. So, like, there were so few of us that I just sat there, and eventually, like, the kindergartners started trying to talk to me, so I just, like, vibe with the kindergartners and just, like, entertain them for, like, 30 minutes.
So what ended up happening, though, was, he, like, found he couldn't take his friend, and then he got, like, all pouty, and he was like, oh, I don't really gotta go to the bathroom. I'm like, oh, you just wanted to talk, didn't you, Corin? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, well, you can do that at recess, or lunch, or whatever I said at the time. And he was like, okay. And then, like, literally 5 minutes later, like, his friend went to the bathroom and took somebody else, and he was like, oh, Mrs. Porter, because my last name was Porter at the time.
Yeah.
Mrs. Porter, Mrs. Are you sure? You can wait for them to get back. And then they got back, and I was like, okay, Corin, you can go. And he's like, well, I don't want to go now. And I was like, okay. And later on that day, he again, that same day was like, Miss Porter, I gotta go to the bathroom. And I'm like, no, Corin, you're not going to the bathroom. Because even my teacher's like, if he asks again, don't send him to the bathroom. He's like, but I really, really gotta go. And I'm like, no, Corin, you're not going to the bathroom. You can wait until lunch. Because lunch was literally like 10 minutes away from that point. Lunch or recess or going home, it was one of those things. And he got like all like quiet. And I was like, okay. And I was like, all right, I think he got it. So I went to like the other groups and I did their things. And, when we were doing like rotations, Corin like didn't want to get up in his seat. And I was like, Corin, what's wrong? You got to go to like your next rotation. And he's like, I don't want to get up. And I'm like, why don't you want to get up? And he looked at me and he started like to tear up. And he was like, I missed my pants. And I was just like,
Corin.
Well, no, I felt so bad. I know he shouldn't lie to me, but I was just like, oh, and I'm like, well, I'm sure it's not that bad. Here, I'll take you to the nurse's office. It's not that bad. And oh yeah, he did. And it got like all over the seat. And he like got up and there was a little puddle there. And I felt so bad. I know he shouldn't have lied to me, but watching this little kid pee his pants made me feel so bad.
Oh, Corin.
Because he was really sad and embarrassed by it. Oh, he did. He didn't, like, every time he'd go to the bathroom from then on, he went to the bathroom. He didn't mess around. But I still felt like shit.
Oh, Corin.
Like, I remember going home and I'm like, God, Cody, I made a kid piss his pants today. I feel so bad. And Cody's like, and then he heard the story. He's like, well, the little shit shouldn't have lied.
2 types of people in the world.
But I was also freaking out. I'm like, oh, God. Am I going to get fired? Because, like, I was new at the job at the time, and his mom never called or complained, and my boss was like, no, that happens quite a lot. If you want to be, because at the time I wanted to be a kindergarten teacher, she's like, that's going to happen a lot. You're going to have to kind of get used to sadly cleaning up those messes if it comes down to it, because some kids lie, and they got to learn they can't lie and abuse the system like that.
Yeah.
Still made me sad though that the kid pissed his pants.
I know, poor little dude. I bet you he did learn though. He did learn his lessons.
Yeah.
I mean, listen. Honestly, you will never be as bad as that one fucking teacher that during my summer camp thing or whatever, basically like treated me like shit after I got lost in the mall.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, for anyone in the stream who would like to hear this story.
Let the person drawing and the main person on this channel tell the story time.
Yeah. So, like, long time. I don't even remember what fucking grade it was at this point. I'm pretty sure it was like, I want to say it was kindergarten, but I'm not really quite sure. It was like over the summer. My parents did, I think both me and my brother, I think it was, or at least it was just me. I don't know if my brother even went or not. But we went to like this summer thing where we would like, basically it was pretty cool. It was like every day you'd go there and you had 2 choices as a kid there. You could either go with them on like a little field trip and we'd go to all sorts of different little like places and stuff like that. For fun for the day, or if you didn't want to go, you could stay there and you could play, like, they had like computer games and things outside and all sorts of stuff you could do, and it was pretty cool. I was there for a little while, and at one point we went on a thing to go do mini golf in the mall or whatever, because the mall we had nearby. So I decided to go on the field trip, and for context, they give us matching shirts, like matching t-shirts everybody wears.
Yeah. They
Yeah,
so you guys,
specifically designed for if children get lost, And we went and did it. The whole day, like, I don't remember anything else about the day. I just remember we went and it was all like, yay, mini golf, whatever. At the very end, we were getting in line, ready to go. Because, of course, if you're in a small group of children in a group together, you all line up and go, like, before you go anywhere. So we lined up. I was at the very, very back of the line, and I kid you not, I'm not joking about this. I looked away to my left for 2 seconds. Not even a minute, just a moment. I looked away, and when I looked back, everyone was gone. There were no teachers. There were no teachers behind me, you know, to make sure that the kids at the back of the line, like, kept up or whatever. Everyone else had already, like, walked off and was gone.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah, it was terrifying for me as a child. And, like, because here's the thing. If I was looking away and I was really just, like, zoning out, not paying attention, I certainly don't remember that, because I remember literally, like, turning my head back, and they were gone. And it was terrifying.
Oh, my God. Like, that's, like, a weird thing that, like, because, like, I want to be a mom. I've talked about this. Not right now. Not ready right now. But in the future.
And it gets worse, like, too, by the way, and we'll mention that in a second.
Okay, then you tell your story. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Because I thought I told you this before. Maybe I didn't.
Maybe. I think so. Keep going.
Maybe. So, obviously, me being a small child and now being terrified, I fucking start, like, I'm like, oh shit, where do they go? And I start, like, running forward to try and catch up to them. And I'm like, I couldn't find them. And I'm, like, looking around. I start fucking, like, sobbing in this mall because I can't find them. And I think I'm going to be, like, lost forever because I'm a small child. And I'm, like, in tears, whatever. And I don't know who to talk to. I don't know who to ask for help. I'm just confused. And thank goodness for this lady. This lady walks up to me as I'm running around in tears. She's just like, hey, are you lost? I saw, like, a group go by with those same shirts on. Like, do you need help finding your group? And I was like, yeah. And she, like, calls off to her group, I guess she was with, like, hey, give me a second, I'm going to help this kid. And thank goodness that lady wasn't evil, because she could have easily kidnapped me right there. But, like, so she helps bring me back. And apparently my whole group was, like, at the bathroom. And it was, like, she led me back, and they were all at the bathroom or whatever, and doing all that. And they were, like, almost done there. So I get brought back, and she's just like, hey, I found your kid, you know, like, whatever. And, she, like, they were like, oh, thank you, whatever. She left me there, and one of the teachers, there were, like, 2 of them there, and one of them, like, obviously, I call them teachers. They're not really technically teachers. They're more, like, volunteer ladies or whatever, like, chaperones. And she was like, all right, get in line, like, we're about to go. And I'm like, but I need to go to the bathroom. I just, like, got here. I was lost. And I kid you not, this fucking lady sighed and, like, let out, like, a frustrated sigh and was like, fine, hurry up.
Oh, that's right. Okay, you did tell me this.
Acted like I'm the dumbass kid. How dare I get lost? And
how dare you be a child?
How dare I inconvenience her by getting lost in the mall? Like, no concern for that, like, I was safe and sound, whatever. And I, of course, being a child at the time, was like, okay, and I just ran off to go, like, quickly use the bathroom or whatever, and go back. And ever since then, because of that incident, I was no longer allowed to go on any of the field trips anymore, because my parents were obviously worried I'd get lost again. Now, granted, to their credit, I don't think they were so much worried that I would be lost. I don't blame them if they didn't, like, believe my story that, like, I looked away for 2 seconds. Because even, for anybody saying that's, like, a memory thing, I said that as a child, too. This is something I have said since that day happened. This isn't something that, like, I just, like, oh, looking back on it now, that's what I remember. Like, this is legitimately something I've said since I was the small child that it happened to. I literally looked away for 2 seconds. And, because here's the thing, though, too. The explanation I have as to how this even happened was because it was a crowded mall at the time that we were getting out of. So what I personally think happened was I looked away, people had started walking, like, as soon as I looked away, and when I looked back, there were people walking in front of them, so I couldn't see where they went. And that's what I think personally happened. And, because I was a small child, because then I panicked, and that obviously didn't help. So I think because like obviously, so my parents didn't let me go on a field trip anymore, and it sucked ass because there were so many trips that I wanted to go on, and like I didn't even care about mini golfing that much, so like it sucked. But also, I think I talked to my mom about it later, like after, like years later after it happened, and my mom mentioned something like, "Oh yeah, I think that lady got fired," because I don't know if it was for my specific incidents, but I think she eventually got fired, and I don't blame them for firing her.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, like it was
like, don't get me wrong.
disgusting.
Like, don't get me wrong. I was pissed off that kid stole my fucking lunch. I wasn't like, oh god, a lost young child.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a difference. Like, oh my god, like you little shit, you stole my lunch. Versus like, fine, I know that you were just lost and we almost left without you, but whatever. Go to the bathroom, I guess.
Yeah, it's so what makes me angry. But what I was gonna say beforehand was I don't know if you were like this, but like there were a lot of moments in my childhood that like I was just alone. Like I would go outside and like play with some of the neighborhood kids. Like our parents wouldn't be outside, and like we would just like dick around for hours. Granted, we were never alone, so it wasn't like just me.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say. But like I think about that, like because I've heard other people from like the '90s and early 2000s talking about it too, where they're like, yeah, I can't imagine like not watching my kids, and I'm like, oh god, because I had that conversation with Cody recently. He's like, oh yeah, that's gonna be weird, because like I did a lot of shit as a kid where I was able just to like dick around. I'm like, I ran away twice. Like I don't know how I would handle it if I opened up my kid's bedroom like window and they were fucking gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like I don't want to like pigeonhole my future crotch goblins either.
Right.
But I'm like,
it's all about that balance. Yeah, it's all about that balance.
Yet and I'm freaking out.
I know. I just like that was a time. It's honestly very funny like talking about stuff like that happened to me as a kid, like especially to my parents, because as a kid, obviously there's always like that little bit of doubt that like, oh, your kid's probably making something up or exaggerating or something like that, because that's what kids do. And like, so there's so many stuff that I told my parents at the time that they didn't believe me, that I tell them again now and they're like, wait, really? And I was like, yeah, you just didn't listen to me. Because like not in a bad way. I should clarify that I have very good parents. They're not horrible parents in the slightest. It's just, these are kind of things that like any parent could make the mistake of, especially with like, because I used to have my dad, like, before I had my whole knee incident, my dad I used to play like softball and shit. And I remember I had a very bad like knee issue during a softball game that for me was like, obviously didn't need surgery or anything like that. But my dad like very much thought I was like faking it and I was being like over dramatic about it.
Oh no, really?
Oh yeah, he told me before, like after all my knee stuff happened, he felt so bad for not taking me more seriously. Cause he remembered that too. Cause I remember there was a time I was doing softball or whatever. I was like batting or something like that, and I think I hit the ball or something, and I went to like I don't even remember what happened initially that well, but like I ended up, whatever it was, my knee did something weird. I fell on the ground like crying because I was in pain. My dad was like, what? Like, it's not that bad. Like, you look fine, whatever. And they tried to help me step up. Oh, I think I got hit with the ball, I think is what happened. I don't think I got hit in my knees, but I think I got hit in my legs and my knees felt it, so to speak. But like, I don't know, something happened. They were like, come on, like, let's, like, go to first base or whatever. I stood up and I kid you not, the feeling I had was that, like, you know in cartoons when a character's legs are shaking and they basically draw them like spaghetti noodles? That's how my legs felt.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and I know that's not what it looked like to people, but that's how it felt. And I collapsed again, crying, whatever, and they helped me, and I limped over there. And I think my dad was, like, an assistant coach on the team, because obviously we're kids in softball, so all our dads are the coaches. But, like, so, like, he very much thought, like, I was just kind of being, like, a drama queen about it. And after I had all my, like my knee dislocation and my surgeries and all that kind of shit, like, he told me, he's like, I feel so bad I didn't take you more seriously when you like talked about your knees and like your knee pain and all that kind of stuff. And so they've learned and whatever. It's like, so it is what it is. But I remember did I tell you about the babysitter that like made me cry?
Maybe. Recap.
Okay, because this is one of the ones I actually told my mom, I think a couple months ago. I told her this again, and she was like, wait, you're kidding? And I was like, yeah, you know the lady, right? And she's just like, you mean the one that, like, the really nice old lady that we left her at our house? And I'm like, oh yeah, she was nice to you. And,
yeah, I think you told me the story.
Yeah, there was, I don't remember her name, but, like, there was this old lady.
Come on, let's give her a weird nickname. That's what
I don't
always
know.
like doing.
Like, I was about to say Nanny McPhee, but she doesn't turn out to be nice in the end, so that doesn't work. We'll call her, like, fucking, I don't know.
Crumple.
Miss Crumple. So, like, my brother and I used to have, like, a babysitter that would babysit us a lot before, and she was, like, a really nice teenager who was fine or whatever, but I guess for some reason she couldn't babysit us, or I guess it was going to be for, like, overnight, so they wanted to give us a more, like, proper babysitter, I guess. And so they, like, there was this lady named, like, Miss Crumple or whatever that we never met her before or whatever, and it was, like, she will babysit kids sometimes, like, at her own house, and she will, like, just where she has just a bunch of stuff so that kids can stay there and spend the night, whatever. And this is, I should say, this is when I was, like, really young, both me and my brother, because my brother doesn't even fucking remember this, but I do. So, I don't remember much of what happened. I just remembered kid brain logic, like, the house was, like, super fucking huge to me as a kid, and I just remember it was like, to my parents, she was the nicest old lady in the world, super polite, super whatever. Soon as they were gone, it was like she did not give a fucking shit about us. It's like we were, like, I don't remember everything that happened there. I just remember, like, I was a picky eater as a kid, so my parents would get on me for not, like, eating stuff because I was a picky eater. But at least they were a little bit more, you know, like, human beings about it, you know, treating me like a child as opposed to like an animal who's not eating their food. But this lady would be like, if I didn't eat something, it was always like, you'll either eat it or starve. Like, that's what it was. And it was, which, jokes on that lady, me with food is that, like, if I don't like something, I will gag and almost throw up. So yeah, the choice was not eating. But, like, the worst memory I have of that experience, because everything's very fuzzy, was that when we actually had to go sleep. I'm a child who has never slept, like, anywhere else as far as I could remember at the time, and we went to go sleep or whatever. My brother was fine. My brother slept and was fine. But I went to sleep, and me being a scared child who already didn't like this place and was really, like, not happy about being there, like, started crying, and I was trying to cry quietly because I was like, I didn't want to make any, like, wake my brother up and shit.
Crying quietly is such a mood. I've done that.
Yeah, it's like I was sobbing because I was like, I want my mommy and daddy and whatever, and I was like just really quiet. And so she comes in here, scares the shit out of me as a kid, obviously, and like it's like what are you crying about? Like, what happened? And, like, really exasperated. And I'm like, I want my mom and dad. And I'm not kidding you. This lady, like, not even turning on the fucking lights, just looks at me from, like, the silhouette in the doorway. Just like, well, they're not here, are you? Are they? So go to sleep.
Yeah, you did tell me this.
Yeah, and just left me there. Like a terrified kid. And I don't even remember if I even tried to tell my parents about this. I don't know if I thought they wouldn't believe me or what. But, like... If I did, I think they didn't really believe me. All I know is that thankfully we never went back because I was always terrified too as a kid. But it's so funny because obviously I was so young at the time. I'm sure shit I remember, like, is not accurate. Like, sounds more like a... Honestly, I feel like my memories of the time probably were, like, are more akin to things I've dreamt about more than, like, what actually happened or what actually looked like. But, like, that experience was real. Like, I'm not kidding about that part. And I remember, like, telling my mom about that later, like talking about like, hey, you remember that, like, because I also, part of the reason I even told her was because I wanted to confirm I wasn't like hallucinating it. Like, I wanted to make sure it wasn't like an actual like memory I had. So I told her like, hey, you remember that time like that old lady babysat us or whatever? And she's just like, oh yeah, like Miss Crumple or whatever. And I'm like, I don't remember her name. I just remember when I was like crying in the middle of the night and I said I missed my mom and dad. She was just like, well, they're not here, so shut up. And she was like, she was what? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, there were a lot of people. There's still people who do it now that make me like really mad.
Oh, I hate people like
because,
it.
like, there are people who genuinely like they want to run daycares out of their home because they love kids and the money's good. But then there are people who are like, yeah, I don't want a normal job, so I'm just gonna like let the kids raise themselves and get paid for it.
Yeah.
Because like I've seen that. And it makes me mad because it's like, why would you go through all this effort to like converting half of your house? Now I don't know if this is how that lady's was.
Oh, it was.
But my mom
That pretty much describes
people,
exactly what it was, honestly.
What?
I said that pretty much describes exactly what it looked like, honestly.
Yeah, it's like a daycare but your house, and I'm like, I don't understand being able to do that and like hating kids because.
Well, like it's like weird too because you say like like, oh, I'm just gonna let these kids raise themselves. It would have been nicer had that lady said, okay, I'm gonna let them run around and do whatever the fuck. Cause like, at least then I wouldn't have been traumatized. Like.
Yeah. No, I get you because like.
Honestly, I just count that lady as. I just count like both those ladies, the teacher lady and the babysitter lady. I just count them contributing to the reason why I make so many female villains.
I mean, could be.
Might be, who knows? Listen, I figured out why so many of my male and female characters are just friends in all of my stories, so you never know.
But like I've told you this. My babysitter one. Not that bad. Not as bad as yours at all. But we had a babysitter who's the same thing. She was a She was a teenager. But like to my parents, best lady in the world. Yeah. Oh my god.
Those are always the worst because you know that they won't like. They know the parents won't believe the kids.
Yeah, exactly. And like the second my parents.
Those are the evil people, not the children.
Oh yeah, no, and I would get so mad because. I was also a picky eater when I was a kid. Like, I was. And I acknowledge that. I was very much if my sandwich had crust on it, I didn't eat it. I was a brat.
Me too.
When it came to food, I was a brat.
Ain't that a mood?
But, and now I'm just like, it's bread. I don't care.
Nom, nom, nom.
But, she, like, looked really cool. And I remember being, like, so upset because literally, like, we would be like, hey, we were young at the time. Like, oh, hey, can we have, like, Kraft mac and cheese or, like, something easy? Because we always had a lot of easy stuff whenever we had to have a babysitter.
Yeah.
And she would literally ignore us. I kid you not. She would do her,
the worst.
The second my parents were gone, she'd wait, like, an hour, and then she would put on a VHS or TV, wouldn't even, like, sit us down in front of it, just, like, put it on, and she would go into our kitchen, where we never were, me and my brother at the time never were, and she would just do her homework and completely ignore us. Or take our food from the fridge. Or complain that my mom didn't keep soda in the house. Or we're like, hey, can we have, like, chocolate milk? Or can we have a snack? And she's like, yeah, when I'm done with my homework. And she would literally just do all of her homework. So we would be there, like, starving. And then when it came time, it was always cut up microwave hot dogs. Or leftovers in the fridge. She wouldn't even make us like Kraft mac and cheese. We were like, can we have some Kraft? We'd like get the box out. And she was like, no, I don't want to cook. I'm not getting paid to cook. And she would literally just cut up hot dogs and put them in the microwave.
I'd make mac and cheese for children. That's what I would do.
And we would talk to my mom about it. And we would be like, Mom, she's like not making us food. And my mom, like, and it's one of those things she regrets because, like, my dad caught her doing this once.
Yeah.
But my mom was like that. No, she's like, I'm sure she made food. She just, like, put it all away and everything. And so, like, one time, now, to be fair, the babysitter didn't know my dad was home either because at the time, my dad worked graveyard. So
Yeah.
my dad would be asleep during the day. So my mom had to sell some houses, and so she came over, and my dad, like, woke up to me and my brother, because we were vocal. We were not quiet. We were like, we're really hungry. Can we eat something? Like, can you make us sandwiches? Something. And she, like, just ignored us. And my dad woke up, and we forgot my dad was home. So we, like, turned around, we were like, oh, Dad! And this teenager looked like she shit her bricks.
Ooh.
Turning around and seeing my dad,
Karma.
tired, just woken up, and he's like, how long have you been here? And she's like,
Ooh.
oh, Mr. Porter, I didn't know you were here. He's like, how long have my kids been hungry? And she's like, oh, I fed them like a couple hours ago. They're just over-exaggerating. You know, kids. And my dad's like, my kids don't exaggerate about food. Which we did. We exaggerated about a lot of stuff, but me and my brother, Corey, we never exaggerated about food. Like, that was not something.
Yeah, and I saw Pyth, I know, making the joke that, like, why don't people believe their kids? Here's the thing, the reason why I say it, because it's always matters whether or not they act that way in front of the parents. Because imagine for a second, like, you hire someone, you meet this person as an adult, and you're like, oh, they seem so responsible, they seem so, like they give a shit, like, I trust them with my kids. And your kids start, like, complaining or whatever about things, but you're like, well, I know this person, they don't, like, they wouldn't do that. It's like, do my kids really mean that? I'm sure they must be it's not that, like, because shitty parents do it too, but, like, I know my parents are not that shitty, it's just it's a mistake they made. I've met Michelle's parents, her parents are not shitty in the least.
And I think, too, is, a lot of the time, okay, you don't get a babysitter through, like, I know now, because I've applied to some of them, before Rona, but I know now, like, there's, like, apps and websites.
Yeah.
Like, if you needed a babysitter, you called somebody and was like, hey, do you know a baby?
It was always like, you know who they are. Like, they're either a friend's, like, child, or they're, like, another parent recommends them to you. It's never, like, nowadays it's different, but, like, when we were, like, small itty-bitty babies, like, you didn't look on a website to find a babysitter. You found someone you knew.
Especially me. You couldn't call the phone and use the internet at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, because, like, I was so lucky. Me and my brother had, like, the best fucking babysitter. Her name was, like, I don't mind, I'm not saying her last name, but her name was Stephanie, and she was, like, the best fucking babysitter. She'd print us coloring sheets, like...
Oh my god! Oh, same. Like, after I had that bad babysitter, I had one other babysitter that didn't last long due to a misunderstanding.
Aww.
I think I told you how my dad scared the other one away on accident.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really funny, and my dad felt really bad. So we went through another babysitter. This one didn't last long, and I felt bad. But what happened was, again, Dad worked the night shift, so my mom had to work. And so this lady was here. She was a teenager at the time, again, also a teenager. And I don't remember what happened, but, like, one of us, either me or my brother Corey, were, like, screaming or crying. And my dad was asleep in his boxers. This is important. So he hears his young children screaming.
Oh, no.
And so he wakes up, busts out of his room to find us. The babysitter's taking care of me and my brother. I don't remember what it was. We were crying. And here comes this man in his underwear.
Oh, no.
Rushing out. And then my dad was mortified. He's like, oh my god, what's wrong? Are they okay? The babysitter screamed. We were okay. My dad was mortified. And then my dad went to my mom and was like, so we need to get a new babysitter. Because I think I traumatized the babysitter. And my dad felt so bad.
Oh.
Like, obviously it was a misunderstanding, but in retrospect, I could see exactly why the babysitter was uncomfortable.
Precisely.
But so, the best part was, after that, I had my Gothic awakening, and I was so happy. So, same like you, it was my mom's best friend's daughter, her oldest daughter, and my mom was like, hey, just so you guys know, your babysitter's gonna be, like, a little different this time.
baby Mitchie.
When you're kids, you also don't have a filter. Like, that's also a thing. I'm sorry. I've seen kids talk. They have no filter.
They have no filter.
But my mom's like, no, she just dresses a little differently, and I was like, oh, okay, her name was Laura. She's
right,
amazing.
this is like your goth babysitter, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's right. And so my mom was like, oh yeah, this is Laura, and my little heart fucking exploded.
Mitchie had a crush on her babysitter.
Oh, I did, okay? Because she was a beautiful goth goddess, and it was like the middle of fucking summer. So my little dumb, Jewish white suburban ass kid sees this, and I was like, you can dress like that all the time. She full out. She like old school goth. She like made all her clothes. She had clothespins in her ears. She had like wild dyed hair, black lipstick, which again, as a little kid, I didn't know was a thing at the time.
Beautiful.
And she was so nice. Oh my god. She played games with us. She was like, oh, I love Digimon and Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And stuff. And like, she would like teach me how to draw, because she was like, oh yeah, I can draw like this. But she liked making like goth versions of like the Neopet fairies. And so she like showed me how to draw. And I remember just being so enamored by this girl and being like, I didn't know you could dress like Halloween all the time. It's my favorite time of year. And she's like, yeah, it's mine too. And when you get older, you can make your own clothes like I do. And I was like, really?
God, little like big goth finds small goth in the wild.
No, but I was like, oh my god, I was so happy.
Yeah,
and I told my mom, I'm like, Mom, I want to wear ripped up clothes, and I want to wear, because I didn't know what fishnets were called at the time. Like, I want to wear the stringy shirts too.
The stringy shirts.
And we Mrs. But she was, and like my brother loved her too, and it was great. She would do when I say goth, I mean like the OG goth, like 80s, 90s goth, like hardcore makeup, not that it's bad now, but you know what I mean, when it's like really over exaggerated.
Yeah.
Yeah, like one time I even asked her, I'm like, can you show me how you like make your eyebrows do the twisty thing? Because she would like do shit with her eyebrows. She was like, oh, sure, just watch. And she, like, took her makeup off and showed me how to do her makeup. And I was like, you don't have eyebrows. And she was like, no, I shave them off. And my dumb ass, you can shave off your eyebrows?
Little Mitchie was so excited.
Oh, I was. I loved it. Every time my parents would be gone, I would be so happy. And my brother loved her, too. And I loved it. I loved having her as a babysitter. But then I started getting older. And then my mom was like, hey, Michelle, you can watch your siblings.
Aww.
And so, but I still got to see her because, like I said, she was like my mom's, best friend's daughter. So, but whenever there'd be family things there, I would love to hang out with her. And I was like so happy because I remember going into her room once and I was like, you can have black walls? And she's like, yeah, she takes a lot of paint.
I love that all of her responses are the most like chill, like, yes, child, you can.
Oh, she was the best.
I hope she's doing great things.
My mom still insisted that I dressed like a preppy white Jewish suburban girl, but inside I was like, I can be Halloween all the time, and I never knew this. And now here I am. And I am Halloween all the time.
You are now Halloween all the time.
Honest to God, if I could paint my walls, I would have black and white stripes in my apartment.
Someday.
Oh, God. I just find it funny on the whole goth thing, because I've seen people be like really goth elitists, where they're like, if you don't do your makeup every day, and you don't wear like 1,000 layers of clothes every day, you're not goth. And I'm like, first of all, edgelord, goth came from the music. Second of all, who the fuck has time for that if you're not leaving your house?
Yeah, who the fuck, like, goth is a lifestyle.
I'm not knocking on it, but if you don't have to, like, put on a face for, like, YouTube or work or photos or something, I'm sure, like, a lot of goth people just chill, no makeup in their house like everybody else does.
No, Mitchie, didn't you know being goth is like a mindset. You can never leave it or you're not a real goth.
It's okay. My mom freaked out when I told her I wanted to tattoo my head. So I was like, Mom, no, it's going to be where my undercut is. So if I ever don't want it anymore, I can just, like, grow my hair out. And my mom's like, why do you want to tattoo your head?
Oh, my gosh. Gosh.
And I'm like, honestly, because I think it'd be neat.
I'm like,
But not my face.
I love your mom.
Nothing on face tattoos. I have terrible luck, so I'm like, you know what? Yeah, let's do an undercut spot. Because if they fuck up, I'll just grow my hair out.
Yeah, I don't think facial tattoos are bad. It's just that the most of the ones that people get that you see, I don't really vibe with.
Okay,
They
you
just
want to
don't
know
look
what I
very
don't
nice.
understand?
What?
Because I lost my shit when I saw this post, and it's so true. So, I also used to listen to older rap when I was a kid. I don't like newer rap. It's just not my taste, not my vibe, whatever. It's like most country isn't my vibe.
Yes.
I saw a post where somebody said, when did rappers start looking like middle school desks?
Yeah.
And I lost my mind because I'm like, that is exactly the tattoo trend I'm seeing right now. Because why do they look like the desks you had in middle school?
Just a little bit.
I just don't get it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry if anybody likes Tekashi 6ix9ine. I don't like his tattoos. I don't get it. Any of it.
I don't, like, more power to you to do what you want and do what you think looks cool.
Exactly. You're allowed to do whatever the hell you want with your body and your face.
Definitely just not my aesthetic.
Yeah, I don't get it. They're so, that's what it is. Because I'm seeing more and more people do it, and I'm like, because I've seen beautiful face tattoos, I've seen tasteful ones, I've seen not tasteful ones.
Listen, my ass, if I ever lost a bet and I had to get a face tattoo, you know I'm getting, like, a tiny diamond on the center of my forehead. Like, you know why.
I mean, remember, we were all going to get tattoos this year. It was going to happen.
It was going to happen. I'd be too picky. I'm so, like, for me and tattoos, it's like, I could never just get something small and cute. I'm always like, it needs to look, like, cool. Like, that's me and tattoos.
Yeah. Oh, someone asked what I wanted to get. So what I want to get, you're going to laugh.
Yeah.
So I want to shave the side of my, because I already have an undercut. I want to shave the side of my head like my temple. And I want to have a bunch of bats flying out. I just think it'd be neat.
It's a bunch of bats flying out of the temple.
Yeah, exactly. And I just think it'd be neat. And then, like I said, if I hate it, I'll just grow my hair out. Yeah. So
that's the best.
I already have a giant tattoo, and I'm getting more tattoos this year. We've decided for our anniversary, that's what we're doing, me and Cody. So I'm excited.
Look at you,
and so I can't do the head one. The head one's got to wait. I want to finish my arm sleeve because I've only had my Bioshock one and my moon for so long. And so I'm debating on if I should get a big one this year or a bunch of the smaller ones I want for my arm. And I'm leaning more towards getting the smaller ones because for me personally also, no offense, like if you have this and you get offended, I literally don't intend it to. For me, on my body, I like line work. I don't like shaded. I don't like black and white. I like just flat line work or flat black.
That's how I kind of feel about it.
Like, nothing wrong with color and stuff like that. It's just, that's how I feel. And I know some people are like, whenever you say that, you're shitting on people. I'm like, no, you do you with your body. I just like black and white ink. I don't like shading.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm like, But I kind of want to get either my rose that Kaylee designed, my Splatoon one that Kaylee designed, or the Delta Rune, like from Undertale.
Mm-hmm.
Delta Rune, I guess. And I'm like, if
Delta Rune from Deltarune.
Then I want to get the Delta Rune from Deltarune. But I want to get that. But if I get the Deltarune one, I'm like, I also want to get a bunch of smaller ones that I can fill in the spots with. So
I'm
just
like
cross-hatch shades of them. Yeah.
I think the like line work shading I think is cool on tattoos.
Oh yeah, no, I love it. Like someone brought that up. They were like, "What about cross-hatch shading?" And that's cool. I might do that, but I want to finish my sleeve because I want to have a whole sleeve.
Yeah.
If that takes time. and money. Because, I'm sorry, like, when I watched, what's her name? Ego Raptor's wife. Is it Mortimer?
Mortimer, yeah. It's
yeah,
Mortimer.
like, when Mortimer, when she got her, got her whole sleeve done, I was like, that sleeve is at least $5,000. That is at least $5,000 right there. Because she got it done, one, at the Kat Von D studio. Two, she got it from a visiting tattoo artist. And three, she got it all done in one sitting. So I'm like, that tattoo is at least $5,000. I don't got $5,000 to get tattoos. It looks great. Her tattoo looks bomb. Her sleeve looks bomb.
Yeah.
But again, I don't got $5,000 to just get tattoos right now.
I'm in big mood.
I have one arm full of small ones and one arm. Actually, so what I want to do, I actually have like my body planned out for the most part. I want my inspiration sleeve, which is where my current tattoo is. And that's just random stuff that inspires me, hence why I got BioShock as my first one. But I also want to get like some of my own stuff there, and I want to get a couple more BioShock ones. And then I want to have one of my legs be a strictly BioShock-inspired piece. Like, I want to commission Kaylee for it to wrap around my entire calf, because I want to have a Big Daddy, Delta, a Big Sister, and a Songbird, like, together in the same, like, picture, all around my calf. Like, my whole calf is that picture. But I need money to commission Kaylee for that picture and for the tattoo. And then after that, it's free reign. Besides the head one, and I do Someday I want a chest piece, but the thing is, when it comes to getting a chest piece, I want to know what I want, because that's on my chest forever. So that's why I'm like, I want a chest piece. I don't know what yet.
Yeah.
But I want one.
Yeah. Meanwhile, there's me, who's never had a tattoo.
Yes. The Zodiac Lord is drawing in Procreate. That's Procreate.
Yes. I'm almost done. I just have this one to do, and then I'm finished.
Was that your last commission?
Yeah, for this person.
Okay.
For this specific person who commissioned me these specific characters. I still have other commissions, technically.
Yeah. But hey.
What?
Are you going to draw Edgar? Because I want to draw Edgar.
I want to draw Edgar. And we're back to IDV. Here we are. God, I want to draw Luca really bad. I want to draw him in his
I do too. I want to draw them
Robo
so
skin. I want him with his fucking creme brulee hair.
Do you like Iron Man? It's fine. Iron Man's more Cody's thing. I was always more of an X-Men kid. How do you do your line art so fast?
I've been drawing for many a year.
He's been drawing for many a moon. That was like me the other day when I was like sketching something and then I inked it. I'm like, I inked this entire chibi in like 30 minutes. That's amazing.
Once you get into the headspace for it, you're like, new.
Yeah. Brain work, please. My brain is dying.
Your brain is dying. I feel that.
Yeah. So if I don't stream tonight, I'm gonna stream tomorrow, where I'm gonna draw Edgar and Luca and that, because I really want to draw them in these. I like them.
I want to too. I want to draw Luca really badly, and also Edgar, but Luca more importantly.
I did not think I'd want to draw Edgar. I was like, oh, it's okay. But then that like little movie came out, and I'm like, why do I suddenly want to draw Edgar?
Damn, the artist alchemist is infusing me with inspiration.
The artist alchemist that's turning himself into gold.
Yeah, just slowly turning himself into gold for a reason that is vague. And
also, I know it's dumb, but I like that you got texting your grandma randomly.
Shh, don't worry about it. I don't know why she's texting me right now.
I didn't see what it was. I just thought grandma, and I'm like, oh, okay.
I know. I'm like, hi, grandma. What is this? It's hot.
My family has Greek heritage, and my dad is gonna get a sleeve of Athena, Poseidon, and Medusa. It sounds like it'd be really cool. That is really cool.
Yeah.
I hope his sleeve goes well.
I love that.
Only thing I recommend is please do research on your tattoo artist. Like, Cody and I spent a long time to find the artist that we wanted to do ours because he was proficient and his main medium was line art for tattoos. Because there are some people that can do like beautiful like painting-esque tattoos, but if you give them like a line art, they're gonna fuck it up. So like you want to do your research.
Yeah.
And don't assume that a tattoo artist can do everything. Like that's something I've learned. A lot of tattoo artists, they got bills to pay, so they're like, oh yeah, I can do portraits. Oh, I haven't done portraits in like 5 years, but I can do them.
Yeah.
So that's why I say do your research.
Make sure you look at your tattoo artist's portfolio.
Yeah. And, this is really big. This is a really big one. Make sure you ask to see if those are healed photos or fresh photos, because that's really important.
That's very important.
Because, like, I had a friend get a tattoo, and the portfolio looked great, but when they got the tattoo and it healed so bad. And the same thing kind of happened to me with my moon, my little moon. It's not too bad, but, like, when I got it, it looked great. When I look at it now, and I healed it perfectly. This was not my fault. It didn't scab or anything. I'm like, oh, yeah, the line work's really janky. There's missing lines. And I'm like, oh. And then when I looked back at that guy's stuff, I noticed all of his portfolio at the time was all with that fresh red hue. So it was a fresh tattoo in his portfolio, not a healed one.
Yep.
So that's important tattoo fact. Look for ask if it's a healed portfolio or if they're fresh.
Yes, always good.
Art's going new when I'm dying. And then under that his pen goes swoosh.
I'm going. I'm in the zone.
New artists, you can't just draw so quickly. You gotta put time and effort into
it's
it.
Like,
Art can't go new.
Artiste go, no, you can't draw quickly. It should take you days to complete an art piece. Me and my dumbass, tablet go new.
Man, I remember back when, like, inking a picture took me, like, 4 hours, and I would, like, die.
I remember sitting with you when that happened.
What?
I remember being in calls with you when inking would take you hours.
Yeah, and now I'm here, and I'm like, huh.
No, I'm here, and I go, scribble, scribble, scribble.
The one thing, though, it's really funny, and I hate to admit it, but I'm ashamed.
What?
Procreate has made my inking and art go so much faster.
Uh-huh.
Like, I love my tablet, I love Sci, don't get me wrong, but I was like, oh, whoa, wait, I don't need the stabilizer like I used to.
Yeah, it's almost like this is exactly the shit I said when I kind of transitioned a little bit to the iPad permanently.
Well, because I was like working in my sketchbook and I'm like, oh my god, wait, my hands aren't shaky. What happens? Looks at iPad Pro. Oh god. It did this to me.
It's cursed, you know. You must join me. God, I was doing it. This is IDV related, but I was doing a 5v5 match today, and I got in a team with like some of the most talkative and polite people in a team I've gotten in with so far. They were like, as soon as they join, like they're like, if you die, don't leave. We're gonna do more matches together, and they're like, good luck, everybody, and whatever. And like even when we lost, they were just like, well, we gave it our best shot, team.
Oh, he messed with the, that's your,
technical pencil,
right? But you messed with
I said it earlier in the stream. If anyone wants to, like towards the very beginning of the stream, I mentioned it. So if anybody, like, I literally put in a clip of me putting in settings. That's why I haven't been answering that question.
Oh,
so
Pyth wanted to know.
Yeah. Pyth, you should already know this. You've seen so many streams where people have asked me this. What are you doing, Pyth?
Hi, baby kid.
I know it's like my most frequently asked question that I've answered a million times.
I'm so happy with the new update when it comes.
I want my references.
Oh yeah, you can have references now. Yes!
I want them.
Procreate, that's all I want. I hate having my reference for the character on the canvas with it. I hate it.
scribbling. I also like trying to get done because I'm hungry.
Oh, what you gonna make?
I don't
Pasta
know.
again?
Pasta, probably. Just a different variety of pasta.
Well, I sit in the ether and wait for the phone call or text that I don't think is going to come.
Yeah.
So I just wonder.
I mean, what do you lose by assuming that it's like she can't and then you don't have to go on your trip? What do you lose?
I make my husband sad.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's also valid.
YouTube gave me the stream notification 30 minutes and it's rude. Well, it's probably because, the YouTube algorithm sucks ass now.
Yeah, just a little
And
bit.
literally it's like you have to post somewhat consistently or else your new videos don't do well. That's why you're seeing a lot more people do like clickbaity.
I will say, I was very amazed that when I started streaming this, like 20 people joined instantaneously. That was pretty wild.
Sure many of them were like, dude, you're alive?
Oh yeah, oh no, that was most of the people when they got in here.
Really?
They were just like, oh my god, he lives! I was like, I live. Oh goodness. What else do we have to talk about?
Identity V.
You right. I was about to say, why am I even asking?
So I discovered how I'm going to draw Identity V characters from now on.
How are you going to draw
But I'm also
Identity V
mad.
characters? Why?
Because I was like, yes, I got the eyes to look the way I want. I think I figured it out. And then Edgar had to show his ass up. And I look at those eyes, and I'm like, damn, that fucks up everything I've been working towards.
Oh no, what were you trying to do?
So I was trying to do a mixture of what, like, Tiny Capon does.
Yeah.
Where it's like, the pupil is the X for the stitching. So when people have unique stitches, they're going to have that.
Yeah.
So, like, I did a couple of tests in my sketchbook where I had, like, Demi's eyes, where it'd be, like, that one weird one, and the one I'm like, I really like how this looks.
Well, you can do that. You just got to draw, instead of having it be like the X's, you just draw a bunch of rosy swirls.
That's true.
Yeah, that's what I've seen some people do.
I'm mad at how fast some people can be.
Me too.
Like that video.
No, I saw fan art of Edgar's skin before I saw the promo art.
Yeah.
That's how fast people are.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's not, because I thought it was like a fan art thing.
I didn't even think it was Identity V at first. I didn't register that it was Edgar.
Yeah. Also, can I just say that Nun Andrew gives me a lot of life.
I'm here for Nun Andrew.
And
I'm here for Nun Andrew being like, please stop fighting, guys. I don't know what he's doing, but that's what I want to imagine he's doing.
Who is the Edgar guy y'all are talking about?
Shh, it's Identity V. It's a hyperfixation.
It's a new character. If you follow any of us on Twitter, you're gonna see a lot of Edgar come home.
Yeah, a lot of Edgar. Gotta get it for Tiffany now.
I've also gotta see. I gotta see if I can take Identity V commissions to help pay for Tiffany to get Edgar.
Gosh, I might wait a little bit before I start doing that, just because I want to, gotta let some essence, because who knows, maybe there's, an essence that comes out that Tiffany's like, oh my god, I need it, so, hey.
That's true, but she really wants Edgar, so I want her to get the boy. Well, she's had a really bad year. And, already, because she's gone on her trip now, and she's already hitting some bad luck, and so I'm like, I just want to do this for you, baby.
I know, listen, I've gotten all my other friends something nice. We gotta get Tiffany in on this, too.
Yeah. We all have to have one, and then you can be Zappy Zap Boy.
And I can be Zappy Zap Boy. I will still, Netties, I will still pay money for...
iTunes gift card. How convenient.
How convenient. I haven't even put all the money in IDV yet, because I know if I do, I'm gonna spend it immediately, so... Also, Pyth saying, I saw people on Identity V main Twitter, or, Instagram telling them not to post a person named Luca, because they ship themselves with them and they feel cheated on. And Pyth, can I just say, those are the people I hate the most in fandoms?
Yeah, it's like the people who are like, I actually married Sans. How dare you?
First of all you people saying that you're dating Luca so you feel cheated on, I'm Luca. So, that... First of all... But, you know, hang on, I gotta plug my iPad in real quick, because it's a little low. Everything's low, by the way, now. Streaming too long. I haven't plugged in.
Yeah, no, that's what happens when I stream. When I stream, I have
Also, I should have turned my fan on because, man, I am sweating.
Oh, you musty?
I'm a little sweaty. It's okay. Ugh.
I think I might have to be bad.
Yeah?
I might have to be bad.
Be bad and do what?
So this artist I follow is going to, tomorrow, she's going to open up Standee pre-orders. And I don't normally get Standee pre-order stuff. But I really like this Miku a lot.
Damn.
And I'm like, I kind of want this Standee.
Yeah.
For my bookcase, because I think it'd be neat.
I can't look at it right now, but I will.
I know, when you do, you'll see it. I love Halloween Miku, though. It's so fucking cute and ain't right. But also, I love the memes coming out for Edgar right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like, oh yes, look at my painting.
Yeah, listen, I love the one that one person we both follow on Twitter was like,
Oh, with Anime George Washington?
No, not also that one, but also the one where it was like Edgar really do be like, ooh, you're going to look at my art, ooh.
Yeah.
And I'm like, listen, me too. I like to think though, because they were cheap and decided to just do it where it was like, oh, it's a random blob or whatever that's supposed to be the hunter, and it's like, instead of like doing anything else for it that actually looks like the hunters, which I know why they did, so it's like disappointed but not surprised. But
Yeah.
I love that in my mind that it's just anytime the hunters and go look at his art, they're just like, what the fuck is that supposed to be? Do you even know art, you loser? He's got such an attitude, and I feel like he has such a bullyable personality. Can you also say?
I love, with the IDDV fandom, with the fact that they got Val confirmed, I love the fan art that I've seen of Luca, Victor, and Andrew in the fucking, like, blue track.
I can't wait to see those costumes, and I've seen pictures of the actors on Twitter, because people are sharing those around now that that's, like, confirmed, but I'm like, it makes me so sad I can't watch it. I want to watch it so badly.
I know! I need it!
Ugh. It's like I remember that I was seeing pictures of the actors, and it's so funny because, like, both the pictures I've seen for Andrew and Victor's actors are, like, very normal, like, actor pictures, you know, that you'd put in your portfolio, your resume. Then fucking Luca's actor, like, I think there's one picture of him being serious, and then the next one I saw on my timeline was him doing the splits, and I'm like, that's hilarious to me. Like...
Can I also say, okay...
Yes.
I want to see the stage play.
Yeah.
Because, I guess, because I only found out from an artist I follow that's also of this identity. Like, they fucking love Lawyer, and they're like, oh my god, he's such a Chad, it's great. And I'm like, what the fuck? Lawyer? Why? And they're like, oh yeah, he gets so much character in the stage play. And I'm like, oh, well, you know what I'd love to see?
I'd love to see.
You know what I would love?
God, I wish it wasn't $200. I mean, I know why it's $200, because it's a lot of shit you get, but I don't have that money, and I don't have the patience.
I'm like, I would love to see this, but you know what I can't? I'm sad, though. I'm big sad, because I guess Lawyer's leaving for Val to come in, but, like, Lawyer Mike's leaving, and I've only seen one Mike, and they're like, yeah, Mike's leaving. I'm like, no!
Why is he leaving?
I want to know why he's laughing and pointing at somebody!
Well, that's in part 2, or not part 2, part 3, or whatever it is.
But Why is Mike leaving? Let Mike stay.
Tragedy. Oh, I want to see it so badly.
Morgan, why can't we have?
I don't know. What server? What server are you talking about, Sky? What server is Sky talking about? She says you're in it too.
What?
I don't know.
Wait, that chill vibe one? Hold on, wait. Okay, wait.
Now I gotta
What
just
is-
read
what-
these.
What?
What?
I'm looking at it. Sky, is there like a link to the stage play here?
They said they were streaming it, is what she said.
Well, you know what I don't get notifications for? Streaming it in the Discord server.
Whoopsies.
What is this? Oh, beautiful. A song in Japanese, but I don't understand. I would love to understand it, but I don't speak Japanese.
You trying.
I'm very, very big sad.
I want it.
And if they're streaming it, it means they know where to watch it. Just give me it. Just let me watch it. No, I don't want them to just give it to me. It's subtitled. Did you watch it, Sky? Have you betrayed us this entire time?
Fucking Mitchie interrogating her. Sky getting interrogated on the street. Alright, I think I can call these line arts done, but let me just pop some, like, color in here, I guess, just for funsies.
Yeah, I watched it. She betrayed us. Sky's seen them.
Sky, why did you never tell us this? I put it in the server you're in. That I'm like, man, I really wish I could watch this.
I know all of us. We've all been dying.
I'm so betrayed, Sky.
Sky's here.
No one else knows what we're even talking about. We're just yelling at nothing.
Also, I'm here. Like, I literally know like 4 people in that group. Nothing wrong with that group, but I know.
I would also personally rather watch it with the people I already know.
Yeah, I know there's 4 of them when there are 20 people in this group. I know for a fact that there is a Star Sweeper fucking Luke.
No, hang on. Just to clarify, Sky is not a random viewer. She is a mutual friend, therefore we can bully her.
Mutual friend. She's a patron. She makes us her art slaves.
Yeah, therefore we are allowed to bully her.
TV server, and she's been holding out on us all the time.
I want links. I want to know.
Bitch.
Sky, you're so... This is mean. I'm feeling betrayed.
I'm hurt. What the fuck? Watch them to stream it. Or you know what they could do? They could give me a link so I can watch it. So I can give it to my friends. The fucking bitch.
God.
Oh my god.
I'm losing my mind. I'm just trying to finish
I'm
this.
hurt, Sky. I'm fucking hurt. No, wait for the next one. You just got the Pints comment. Sky commented right after that, so I'm hurt.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I know, I'm watching it. I'm seeing what's happening.
I don't like it. I'm angry. Because, yeah, right now what I'm seeing in the group is I'm seeing just photos. Not links. I want links to the stage play. Give me.
God, everyone else is just so confused while we're yelling at Sky.
Okay, I will admit, this meme's pretty gold. This is a pretty good meme.
I'd love to look, but I'm trying to finish my commission. Also, Sky, also, you say that to Mitchie, like, Mitchie should have known it. You know the other people who can't, like, aren't even in that group, Sky?
Yeah, and I had to mute that group because nothing on them. They're cool people. But, like, they talk in it all the time. And there's 20 people in it when I know 4.
Weeps. Alright, let's save this out.
I'm very, very big sad.
And get them transparent for their convenience. In case they want to color it. And there we go. I've done it. I've done a commission.
You finished a commission.
I finished a commission.
Mom, I'm scared. Take me out. Damn, you're being brutal to Sky. No, okay, I'm allowed to be brutal. Morgan and I, in our whole other group of friends.
We know, Sky. This isn't us like attacking a random viewer.
Watch the stage play, and Sky's here in the background like, excuse you. I've watched it. When she's in that group watching us suffer. Man, I'm starting to feel betrayed.
No, read that entire comment. Man, I'm starting to feel betrayed because of how hard Mitchie and Zodiac are screaming about Sky.
No kisses for you.
No.
Sky.
You betrayed us.
I'm big hurt.
I want to know. I mean, because listen, Sky, if it's a case where it's like one of them owns the CD and that's the only reason they're able to stream it, you're not telling us that either, so we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't have answers. I've finished though, and I need to eat. So, oh, sorry, I don't know what's doing that. That's just a sign I gotta get out. I'm aware. I'm sorry.
We had fun in our distress.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and head out because I really need to eat, so I'm sorry for anybody who, my mic's freaking out, apparently. If Sky, we can continue this argument in the other chat. You know the one. But, goodbye, guys. Thank you for coming.